Hi guys, in this video I will be talking about types of budget. So in our previous videos we have discussed about the difference between plan, budget and forecast, and this video would be more budget specific, different types of methods that are prevalent these days. Okay, so I will be talking about the most used methods as per my experience that we have been using practically. So the top method that comes in my list is zero cost budgeting. Zero cost budgeting, as the name suggests and signifies, it means disregarding prior budgets and starting from very scratch. Okay, so you have to prepare justification for every expenditure that you are planning to incur next year. I have given some examples. For example, if you want to plan software subscription cost for next year, right? So you will have to evaluate number of employees, number of subscriptions required, and then arrive at a cost. And this is how you really prepare a justification and has to get it approved by the management. So this activity has to be done for all the expenses with proper justification. Okay, so this is zero cost budgeting. The second and the easiest method is incremental budgeting that is recommended for smaller businesses wherein they are considering previous budget and doing just adjustments based on expected changes or growth. For example, if you had a marketing budget last year, right, whatever be the number, right, XYZ, you are just taking an increase of 10% due to anticipated market expansion, or you are increasing 5 or 10% to your cost considering inflations, right? So that is how an incremental budgeting works. It considers prior budget, does an adjustment, and arrives at the current year budget. Okay, the third and the most loved method these days is driver-based budgeting. Okay, so in this driver-based budgeting, you are identifying the key performance indicators and operational drivers that is directly tied to your revenue and your fund. Okay, for example, how you really forecast or budget your revenue will depend upon, definitely depends upon business models, but again, you can think it from the perspective of number of products, cost, expected revenue per product. So this could be certain drivers to calculate revenue. If I talk about hospitality industry, right, they take into consideration types of rooms, room occupancy levels to arrive at revenue. Okay. For cost, if you have to set aside your marketing budget, you can think of assessing and build a KPI across customer acquisition cost. For that, you can refer your previous years to build the logics in such a way that your CAC is calculated and your marketing budget is arrived. Similarly, you can set your R&D budget. Budget. One of the most driver commonly used is expected number of product launches. Okay, so this is how you normally do a driver-based budgeting. You identify the drivers for every revenue and expense line items, and then you kind of tie it to your top line. You kind of tie it to your revenue. Okay, so this is what is driver-based budgeting. Talking about next technique, that is top down. Top down budgeting is very commonly used, wherein higher management establishes an overall budget and allocates it to different departments or inputs. So in top down budgeting, there are no inputs that are taken from your lower management or a mid level management. Okay, so higher management or a CEO or a CFO is setting up the annual budget, distributing it to different divisions as per the strategic goals and initiative. Okay, when I talk about budgeting, that is bottom up budgeting, it involves receiving inputs from lower levels and then creating a budget based on the operational requirements. For example, a very easy example for you to understand is, for example, if I have to plan a training budget for next year for my employees, so I will organize a meeting with all my employees to assess their training needs, and based on that meeting I will be able to know, for these number of employees, they would want to be trained in these trainings in next year. So based on that, I will arrive at the cost, and this is what I will submit to my top level management for approval. And that is the operational requirement. That is the need, that employees will have, and you just have to get it approved. And that is how you create a budget based on bottom up. The other method that I recommend to use is that is the combination of top down and bottom up. Herein we are balancing both the approaches. We are balancing top down and bottom up both. Okay, wherein the management is setting an initial framework, and that is refined further by departments. Okay, so CEO or a CFO, kinds of establishes the overall spending limits, while the department's job would be to provide a detailed budget based on their specific needs. And definitely they will align, the both the department heads and CEO will align their budgets to the company's overarching goals. Okay, so in the combination, we are taking inputs from top level management, we are kind of taking inputs from lower level management, that is your operational level management, and you are just balancing out and arriving at a consensus. Okay, so that is what I call it as a combination method. So I hope this video is helpful for you to understand the different budgeting techniques. And in our upcoming videos, we will be discussing about different budgeting models. I will kind of show you some real life models that you can use, that you can prepare, and you can kind of learn. Thanks for today. Thank you.